Episode of Change Your Mind, Change Your Thinking. I am your host, Choice Skinner. This is my
co-host, Antonio Dean.
And we have a great topic to go over with tonight. Congratulations on making it to another week.
I agree.
Hope you guys had a great weekend and a great Monday.
Sure.
I know we did.
Welcome to this planet.
Yeah, absolutely. We got to do some workout today. We got to... I spent this weekend just basically going over the shows and getting everything situated. So when you get a chance, you'll be able to go to the YouTube channel, and all of our shows previously will be listed. Takes a little time to edit them and everything, and we're still working on getting everything situated here in the studio. We are very, very excited to what we have planned for you guys in the future, and we love our format, and we will continue to grow to make everything a more interactive experience for our listeners and our viewers. All right. Once again, we want to thank you guys tremendously for being a part of our show and for chiming in. We look forward to any type of calls and questions you may have. We are always looking to figure out the best type of energy in which to bring to the show so that way we can change your mind and change your thinking. Was that
lights going?
Is that cheesy? What I just said?
Nah, I liked it.
It was cool. Yeah. If you thought that was cheesy, please chime in and let me know that was cheesy.
They liked it, right? Right?
Yeah.
Everybody likes it.
All right. Thanks, Brandon Highcamp. Yo, go too, man. So if you would like to donate to our show, it helps tremendously with paying the lights and helping us to get equipment to move this show along. We are definitely grateful to any donations that come this way and or sponsorship. We are definitely grateful for that as well. If you are on YouTube, you can see the social media and the different tags that we have that shows how you can donate to our show and how you can help to support us. If you are on Instagram, again, you can see, well, we're working actually. Someone mentioned something about showing a way to show our tags on Instagram.
Our tags?
Yeah, like how to donate and how to go to all of our social media.
To kind of get a lower third on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I was looking just before we went live when I found that schedule thing. There were a couple different options on there, so we'll have to explore that.
Perfect. Okay. So cool. So hopefully in the next couple of days, you'll see that. Of course, we will be streaming once again on Thursday night. We had a lot of response to the last couple of shows, and they have been really, really juicy and interesting. So, yeah, if you tonight are interested in calling in to the show, the number is 404-997-2188. Again, that number is 404-997-2188. If our mics sound too hot, please let us know. What else? Hey, Nomadic, what's going on? Thanks for coming in. Scott, as always, thanks for coming in. What's going on? What's up, Emmett? What's going on? Yeah, so tonight,
Sir,
we are talking about monogamy.
Monogamy.
So it's funny because that's a conversation and a topic that I've had recently with several different friends. We've talked about monogamy and the belief of monogamy and the lack of belief of monogamy. And Brandon Highcamp says, "Sounding good. I'll be quiet. You're engaged. It doesn't matter. This doesn't incorporate you anymore, brother."
Well, how do we know that they have a monogamous relationship?
Ooh, see? So now we get into the juice of the juice.
How do we know that?
That's very good. That's a good question. So what does that mean? What does it mean to be monogamous? Okay, so let's start off the show with just basically, I don't know what happened
it's
here.
on the window.
Yeah?
Just change the window and what is that? Edge? Yeah, just go to edge.
Go to edge and change the window.
Yeah, it should be there now.
Okay. All right. Nope.
Oh, add that tab to the other part of edge. The other edge window.
Sorry guys, we had a little
Just pull up the other window.
Mm-hmm.
not minimize, but take it off of full
Oh,
screen.
I know what to do. Here we go. Boom.
Oh, well, yeah, there we go.
There we go. All right,
Problem
so
solved.
problem solved. We are still poly. Oh, interesting. Oh, this is the right show.
We're already starting off strong. All right.
So, yeah, okay. All right. We definitely gonna have to get some calls in tonight because I'm seeing this gonna be a good one. All right, but anyway, the definition of monogamy, as per to Wikipedia, and listen, a lot of people be like, "Oh, you went to Wikipedia." Wikipedia is a very, very strong, insightful, and in-depth resource.
Everything on the internet was put there by somebody else. So unless you were there when all of these concepts and topics and terms were created, you don't have much of an argument. We're all subjected to the exact same sources for all of our information.
Absolutely. And listen, not only did I go to Wikipedia, I went to Webster's and all the other different definitions, and they were all the same. So, get used to backing up your information and your sources. But anyway, monogamy is a form of dyadic relationship in which an individual has only one partner during their lifetime. Alternately, only one partner at any one time, serial monogamy, as compared to non-monogamy, polygamy, polyamory. The term is also applied to the social behavior of some animals, referring to the state of having only one mate at any one time. So, again, let's just do, Brandon said, open marriage. Okay.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So monogamy pretty much is a form of being with one person at a specific time. That's pretty much what it breaks down to. One partner at any one time. Serial monogamous. Like some people consider themselves serial monogamists.
Right.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. If a person, well, this is the thing, because I would think some people wouldn't even look at this as their definition of what monogamy is. Everyone probably has a different definition, right?
Everyone may have their own interpretation, but a definition is a definition.
Right, I agree. Truth is truth.
Everyone has their own interpretation. Mm-hmm. However, if we're going to be definitive tonight, let's set the precedent now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so again, we are looking for people to call in and or to put some stuff inside the messages. You can message us. You can go live with us and talk about this thing called monogamy. Don't be afraid. I feel like today that our audience is a little skittish and scary, man.
You think? Well, that's because of the world.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to be truthful and forthcoming and forthright with our with any of the things it is that we actually think and feel about really any given subject.
Okay.
That's unfortunate. Especially
when it comes to our culture and being an American culture. If you're from another country, it's a different mindset perhaps. But here in the American country, especially when it comes to sexuality and relationship issues, people are a little bit more, reserved and ambiguous in regards to their thought process and how they feel about certain topics.
Ambiguous is the one for sure. Everyone thinks that there's because it actually just depends on, in this situation, well, guess what? The exception to a rule proves the rule because it is the exception. Mm-hmm. Majority always is the rule.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Text me that number and I will call it. Oh, so okay, Brandon said.
We could post it in the chat.
Yeah. You want to, how do I do that? Let me see.
You'd have to type it over there, yeah.
Comment. Okay, Brandon.
But also to anyone else wondering about the call-in, that is 404-997-2188. 404-997-2188. Excuse me. Also, feel free to go ahead and join in on the live. Are we taking questions and things now, or are we kind of gonna?
Yeah, let's go with it today. Let's just change the format up a little bit. We're gonna go into this article from Psychology Today.
Okay.
It was an article that pretty much summarized what it is to be monogamous, and saying that it's not what you think. So it says monogamy is not what you think. Okay. So Also, by the way, I'm still having an issue on my Instagram in where the live sometimes cuts off after an hour. So if it cuts off, make sure you just sign back in into the live because I always pick it back up, and unfortunately, that's an issue that I'm still working on. All right, so let's read a little bit of this. Okay, couples.
They got their feet together.
I know, right? This is in quotations. I thought this was very profound. Couples often fight over contracts they've never made. Mary Klein, a sex therapist.
That's dope.
That's huge, isn't it?
I like that.
I was like, that's the way you start off an article. One of the phrases we often hear in these chaotic times is the new normal. In other words, what was once considered an unquestioned standard has evolved into something we couldn't have imagined before, especially when it comes to sexual matters. Among the general public, there are numerous layers of mistaken assumptions about what is normal and acceptable. We sex therapists, however, quickly come to understand that there are dozens and perhaps hundreds of sexual behaviors that are normal in society but seldom openly discussed. Now, that I agree with 100% because when you're... Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely, Brandon. Here we go.
Oh, great start.
Yeah, Brandon's coming in. We're going live with Brandon.
Make sure the phone is turned up on the left-hand side. The long one, you'll feel it.
This one here.
Yes, up.
Yes, up. What's going on, Mr. Heitkamp? It's great to have you here on a Monday night. I'm sorry, Tuesday night. Tuesday night. Yes, yeah.
I listened on the right night. This is all about my life, basically.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, listen, as soon as I thought about this show, I literally thought about several of my friends who I know have, had, polyamorous relationships or relationships that weren't considered conventional, right? And so what is your thoughts? What do you feel? This is your open forum. Speak.
Yeah, so from my experience, it's been a healthier relationship for me. Because when I was in monogamous relationships, there was always I never felt satisfied in the relationship. And I was always having my head turned, and I always thought there was something wrong with me. But then I met someone who was in an open poly relationship, and she actually had two partners. And I was the third partner, and you don't really know how you're gonna feel in that kind of relationship until you actually do it. You don't know if you're gonna have jealous tendencies or if you're gonna feel like, why am I not enough? Is something that comes up a lot in those, when monogamous people are talking about that to people that have been in that kind of relationship. And historically, monogamy is actually far less conventional than non-monogamy from a historical standpoint. Non-monogamy was actually kind of the status quo until you had the nuclear family, where it was husband, wife, kids, picket fence, all of that. Many cultures, non-monogamy was the normal, and it was more of a if you want to say like a tribal relationship where many moms for the children kind of thing, kind of like how lions are, right? Where the male is having relations with many females. But anyway, so now it's become something that's a little bit taboo to talk about, just because so many people, there's been a lot of talk in the media about the one since the 50s, like who's the one for you, who's the Mr. Right and Mrs. Right, and that's fine for some people. My brother is happily married and definitely should be monogamous, and that is definitely how his brain is, circuited.
Okay. So let me stop you there. So it from what you're seeing, then it's a thing of individuality for each individual, right? Pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, it really comes down to what makes you happy and how you communicate. I've found that there's a lot of, and this is, there's valid points for either relationship, right? I'm not saying that one way is right and one way is wrong. I would say that if
Too many inhibitions.
Now that I'm in a non-monogamous,
Oh.
technically non-monogamous relationship, because other people are like, oh yeah, I'm not monogamous. Like, does your girlfriend know that? Because if she doesn't, that's not ethical. But ethical non-monogamy has taught me a few things. One, that that communication is paramount. You know, let's say I have a partner and I'm interested in getting to know somebody else, I need to tell that partner I would like to, pursue something with this person. And we talk about how that looks and what that will entail. And I think that that's the most important thing. And also, if let's say I'm dating around with other people while I have my partner, who's now my fiance, if she's having insecure feelings, we know how to communicate about that. I used to, when I was younger, I would blame the other partner for making me feel insecure. I would say, "You're making me feel insecure." But then I actually read a ethical non-monogamous book called The Ethical Slut, which anybody who's interested in that kind of lifestyle, it's a great kind of tool to help you kind of get past some of the monogamous hang-ups that some people feel. But one of the things was talking about how to talk to your partner, because after reading that, I was like, oh, instead of saying, you're making me feel like this, I would say, honey, I'm feeling insecure. Could you help reassure me? And now it's a partnership rather than a blame fest.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in essence, you're basically saying that having a discussion and a discourse about being in a polyamorous or non-monogamous relationship actually makes it more transparent.
Absolutely. It has to be.
Well, that's a heightened level of maturity.
And I think that anybody that's in that kind of relationship would agree with me that the key to their happiness in that non-monogamous relationship, whatever it may be, whether it's polyamory or otherwise, is communication. And I think that's paramount for any relationship, but definitely when you are dealing with multiple people's feelings, because if you're alienating one partner to satisfy another, that's a recipe for disaster.
Okay. All right. And can I ask you a question? How long have you had the desires or the ideology of being in a non-monogamous relationship?
I've been polyamorous for about 5 years now.
Okay.
I got him.
A little over 5. Actually, let me think now. More like 6 or 7 years now. I've been polyamorous.
Okay.
And as you know, Joyce and I go back a ways. I never thought I'd get married.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
Something that I was interested in.
Yeah. It's still the ongoing running conversation of many people at this point.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, it really came down to having a partner who is also interested in those things.
Mm-hmm.
I had that thought when I was monogamous, where I was like, none of this seems right to me. But it took being in an open relationship where we could both explore things
Mm-hmm.
and have experiences together and away from each other, that I went, oh, this I could do for the rest of my life, and have a better relationship.
So being monogamous was a forced thought process, and it was a forced way of how you saw things. Pretty much, that's what you're alluding to. Because you were raised a certain way.
So it was more so passed down to him.
Yeah.
And not only that, but I've seen so many marriages fail because people are completely truthful.
Mm-hmm.
And I never wanted to be in that situation, but now that I'm in a relationship where the whole point is communication and making sure that we're on the same page. Like, we have about 3 to 6 months, we have a date that we go out, and we literally have a date night where we talk about whether or not we want to continue the relationship. Which I think, and not only that, but also talking about what am I doing well and what can I improve on to make this relationship better.
So yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have to cut it there with you on that, Brandon. But we're definitely gonna talk about. Thank you for being very open and transparent and honest and conversing with us and calling in, because I think that's. I'm glad we did it this way. This was a great way to open up the show.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So yeah, it was awesome. Perfect night. Love you, brother. Thank you for calling in.
Thanks for having me.
Got it.
Take care, guys.
So we got a question.
Okay.
We got two questions. Well, the other one isn't quite a question, but we have a question and a statement. Let's start with the question. Is there a purpose for monogamy? I have an answer, and then I know that there's a more biblical answer.
Well, let's go to this side of the aisle. Let's go to this side of the aisle so we can get your opinion in this, because I think we can round back to kind of what Brandon had said. There was some very juicy details.
No, yeah, that was great.
Yeah, but go ahead.
For my answer to, is there a purpose?
Mm-hmm.
A purpose to monogamy?
Mm-hmm.
The purpose, how it came to be something that was widely accepted, and this might be on some conspiracy theorist type of shit, but essentially it's a bit of a control factor, especially when it comes to organized government and financial institution within any country, right? So essentially, the government makes a lot more money when its citizens are not exactly thriving. They're thriving just enough. And it's harder for two people and all of their children to make it than it is for, say, a village that comes together and pools their resources and builds together rather than everyone being separate. So, and I mean, and that's not, I don't mean that for America. I mean age long, for as long as we've had, more advanced government systems.
That's the short end of it, huh? That's the longest short
Try
end.
Try to keep it concise.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, I totally agree with you in that regards, because that is the new mindset of the control of the populace. Definitely. There are a lot of cultures and a lot of societies that were very much into polygamy and polyamorous relationships and stuff. As far as what I know in regards to the biblical aspect, it was to build up the Church of Israel. It was to build up the culture. It was to increase the numbers, because God wanted his people to be separate from other cultures. And usually this is something you don't hear in churches.
Correct.
Unfortunately,
At least not in the Western world.
Oh my God, they never talk about this, because it will help you have such a bigger understanding of things, to which you can stop being so hypocritical. Because people are hypocritical. People are hypocritical usually because they don't understand things.
People are hypocritical typically also because they have their own agenda.
True.
With one another and against one another.
Absolutely. And so it's a thing of, I feel better about myself if I put you down type of mindset. So to help people understand that those who really need to look it up, look it up. It was all about the building of Israel. A lot of the things that were biblical were about the building of Israel. Had nothing to do so much with the morality aspect, because God allowed specific kings and specific people to have several wives. And so of course from those things came horrible things sometimes, but that doesn't mean that you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's what I've learned. Wow, Brandon really he really summed up.
That was an excellent dissertation. Essentially.
Yeah. So basically, what he was saying, non-monogamous relationships are probably more open and more
people are more honest with one another.
More honest, because
they've gotten rid of, generations of inhibitions that are built into a construct, such as monogamy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Letting go of all of that weight.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm. So the question that I had, because I had asked Brandon, he was forcing himself to fit in a construct, right? He felt like this is how it was supposed to be done, and then eventually he realized I'm better at this. This works for me.
Because humans typically carry on that which their parents are doing.
Instituted to them.
Correct.
Yeah, the matter, even if it's a horrible marriage and they see it and they know, they
And
go
they
out
think,
and do the same thing.
you know, that's just what marriage is. I got to fight for this relationship. Sometimes you're fighting a little too hard, you know.
Within the black community, and we show that, you know, especially with what's going on with Nia Long and that scandal and everything. What do you think is, because in regards to relationship, right? You people step out. That's that. I always like the word step out because cheating, you know,
That's a huge implication.
yeah.
And you're I mean, that might be a conversation for another time, or we can get into it tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I think this article talks a little bit about that. But the fact of normality, I think, is what gets in the way of most people. Again, if you tune in with us, the telephone number is 404-997-2188. Again, that's 404-997-2188. And also, we are taking people on live. If you want to go live with us, you're definitely welcome to do that. It's a lot, isn't it? Now that we're sitting here thinking about it, I in your mind, what do you think? Do you think monogamy is something that people just fall into, or is that it's a choice? I believe monogamy is a choice. I believe people choose to be monogamous.
I think that it's more subconscious.
Okay.
Than anything, especially in the Western world. I think the Western world is where it's really heavily promoted and widely accepted for many reasons, especially here in the United States. It's not things that are choices for the average person. Typically, shouldn't have to be something that they're battling within subconsciously. So when that's something that you grew up hearing about and it became a regularity for you, it almost is not a choice at all. You act on what it is that you've seen.
But is there anything wrong with just wanting one person? Like, see, with me, I've never had the desire to step out on anyone I've ever dated because I was just always happy they wanted me. Like, the fact that someone showed me attention and was like, "Oh, I want you," I was like, I would put all my energy into that person. Maybe it's a loyalty trait. I don't know. But I just always felt like, oh, you want me? You're going to give? Okay, then I'm giving everything to you. Yeah. Now, what happens with that is, as, you know, on the sexual end, if your needs are not being met, which I believe is a huge part of
a huge factor
of relationships, huge factor next to the financial aspect of it, which is, you know, a lot of divorces are because of sexual and or financial. People don't realize that, but it's not because of communication. Some people can go to their sides of the house and be like that for 30 years and be cool as long as the sex is good and the money's there.
Some form of intimacy for any type of relationship, not just romantic, but there has to be some sort of reciprocal intimacy for any relationship to be maintained. And that includes friendships and so forth. Let's be very clear about
relationships, period. And we talked about that in our very first show about being used. People are using each other and don't even realize they're using each other. Back to stepping out or to cheating. Is there a time that stepping out is warranted? Or is there a time when in a monogamous relationship, two people should realize that they're not giving each other what is needed in the relationship?
Should realize?
Because we're going to get to it in a second because we're going to talk about contracts because that Psychology Today talks
verbal
about
contracts are very important when it comes to relationships.
But do you think there's a time when it's like, okay, two people are together, maybe they're married for 2 years and they realize, you know what, this is really not what we thought it was going to be. You know, maybe we should have an open marriage.
Have these two people actually had these conversations? Because that's a huge implication in itself. Most individuals do not know how to communicate much less becoming a unit in a relationship and having to communicate with someone up close and intimately in your personal space, living together. There's a lot of room for confusion there.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that they know what communication is, but they are not quite there yet.
Yeah, communication is not just expressing your point of view and not hearing the other.
It's based on maturity.
Yeah, yeah. I think the lie is the lie is instituted at the very beginning. I think it starts in dating. I think when two people sit across from each other at a table and they're not being completely honest with each other or themselves,
the woman is not, excuse me, the woman's not eating her food as fast as she would normally. You know what I'm saying? The guy might have took her somewhere that he actually could not typically afford. You know, they're putting forth the front. Both sides are putting forth the front of sorts.
do you think they're telling each other what they want to hear, what the other person wants to hear?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Where do you think that
Because
comes
the woman
from?
wants something and the guy wants
Yeah, where do you think that comes from? Desires, personal desires, or just the world desires that's put on us?
Probably a mixture of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because women are a lot of women are brought up to believe that, you know, there should be marriage, there should be the carriage and the baby and all of these different things. The man has to be Superman and all of this kind of shit. Got to have his life together, or he should be, you know, an upperclassman of sorts. And then men, we got to go, you know, in our minds we got to have the best jewelry, got to have a great outfit. Haircuts got to be crazy. I got to be able to take her to have steak and lobster if that's what she decides to order. You know, all of these different tropes or relationship tropes. I think it's actually quite balanced in that representative that shows up for both sides.
I think too that people lie to themselves on their needs compared to their wants.
I agree.
Right? And so it becomes very exhausting when you're going from person to person and not being honest with yourself, and then expecting finally to enter into a contract where it's like, okay, now I'm going to get everything that I feel that I need, and not being honest about yourself about what you really want because of age, right? Because of age, or maybe their life and where they're at in their social status. Maybe this is a step up, right? You know, it's like some women get with older or ugly men just because that guy's got a bag.
That's hypergamy.
Yeah, it's horrible. What's going on in your neck of the woods?
I mean, we just kind of got some comments. I have a question, a more personal question. I'll answer that as we go on in the show. But someone says, or not someone, Natural Kiana says, write down your negotiables and non-negotiables.
Okay.
So, and that kind of speaks to what I wanted to bring to attention. Let us make sure that we bring clarity to what a contract is.
Yeah.
And what we mean by that. Or not even what we mean by that, but what is a contract? A contract is an agreement between multiple parties, right? The agreement. How can there be a balanced agreement if two or more individuals are not clear on what it is that they expect from the other person and how they expect the relationship itself to carry on?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is the contract that is in question here.
Yeah. So.
And that would be considered a verbal contract legally, by the way.
Well, yeah. But I mean, listen, most people, if you're entering into a contract, you have to enter in knowing that you're going to keep the legalities of it. So in essence, my thing is like, all right, this is what I said I want to do. Okay, so now you have to be integral to your word. And I think a lot of times people live so much by the seat of their pants that they don't realize that they're not being integral in certain moments because of their emotions, right? So it's like all of a sudden, here's a guy and a girl. Let's give it an example. A guy and a girl, and they're married, and he says, I want to be monogamous, okay? He steps out, he does his thing, and then when she finally decides to do her thing, it's a problem. He gets jealous, or vice versa. She gets jealous because, okay, they say, all right, we're going to do a threesome together, but we'll both pick who we want for the partnership. And then throughout the session, all of a sudden, there's an intimate
Someone's
connection.
getting too much attention.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, there's a problem.
Right.
I think that is a lack of maturity, number one. But also, I think that's when people are, going against the contract because the contract was made verbally, like you said.
Right.
Or they discussed it and they both played like they were adult, but now all of a sudden somebody's angry. I think that's when it becomes dangerous, in my opinion, because that's when it becomes psychologically dangerous and almost spiritually dangerous, because jealousy emanates from a spirituality. You know, to look at what somebody else has and say, I want that, has nothing to do with you needing it. You know? So what is normal monogamy? Okay, normal monogamy. Take, for example, the notion of monogamy. We are taught that monogamy is the gold standard, and anything that strays from that is problematic or flat out wrong. Thus, people who are not monogamous nor want to be are judged and often seen as having something off about them. Interesting. The irony here is that most monogamous couples I see have never talked about or negotiated what monogamy actually means for them. That's what Brandon was talking about. Something as vague as being loyal to one another. But when you begin to ask about specifics, one partner may believe that looking at pornography is cheating. For another, masturbating feels like a betrayal. And for another, engaging in sexting or cybersex without ever meeting each other or even being in the same country is cheating. Which is all ludicrous to me. Just like in any other relationship agreement, then monogamy demands a more detailed discussion about its meaning.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Sometimes my clients even surprise me. For instance, I began working with a gay male couple who told me that they were monogamous. After several months, however, they informed me that they had a three-way. When I asked if they had changed from monogamy, they said no. I was confused. Didn't we just talk about this?
Well, so because she is assuming that it says she's a sex therapist, right? So that would imply that she is somewhat successful academically, right? So she's going through some sort of institution to gain that kind of certification. So definitions, quite important.
Yeah, huge.
They mean something.
Yeah, huge.
You can't go around life using words, spells incorrectly. That's when things get twisted. There's confusion now involved. And you know how that evolves.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was confused. Maybe I hadn't gotten the correct information in our initial consultation. I told them, I thought you told me you were monogamous. And they said, we are. Now I was really confused. But you just told me you were monogamous. We are monogamous, they said. We only have three ways together and are never sexual with others apart from each other. Okay, now I was slowly getting it. Let's take a deeper look then at some of the nuances that exist with monogamous relationships and try to offer some language that can help couples determine what is normal for them. Okay, so that was that section of what is normal monogamy. Because like we talked about, that's why we gave the definition in the beginning of the show.
Will we be definitive or will we be working with everyone's interpretation of the term? Which I'm someone who's very big on being definitive, especially very responsible with your words. There are a few categories where I think that it's very important to understand that when interacting with others, there may be some bending and contortion going on. So something like relationships. Although we have all of these defining terms, what is this and what is not, I firmly believe that people define their own relationships. That's what the contract does. Whatever it is, however you label it, whatever words that you use, what you're doing with another person or persons is all up to you. It's up to you guys collectively.
Yeah, and I think the responsibility and the true maturity is being honest with yourself. I always say to people that the compromise is never with others, it's with yourself. And I think the more you delve into who you are as an individual, your wants, your needs, your desires, your passions, what you feel you need to live with throughout the days is what makes the difference on how you interact with other people, right? So if you're saying you're a monogamous person, then I can't sit there and judge you and say, oh, I saw you looking at that girl's ass. I thought you said you're monogamous, because that may not define what it is that
you've actually what ramifications and limitations that you've actually all set for yourselves.
Yeah. Or are you disowning the fact that you're a goddamn human being and it's okay to look at somebody else You know what I mean? As long, it's some people believe that, oh, if I think it, I'm gonna do it. And if you're that type of an extremist person, then you're dangerous. I don't want to be around you.
I agree with that.
if you see yourself sticking a knife in my eye, and more than likely that's who you are, I don't want you around because I'm gonna have to hurt you.
There are people who might define that as love.
Yeah, I guess.
Interpret that as love, right?
So we gotta let's see here. Excuse my.
Oh boy.
I have to spell correct first. Should I? I don't know. Bossy business.
Oh my God, blocker. Yep.
Sorry, bossy business. You're blocked.
Restrict, actually. If I don't let you restrict, then just block, whatever. Yeah. It's unfortunate. I'm glad we just had that talk.
Okay. All right. What else you got going on over there?
So I'm actually waiting on. I asked someone to expound on a statement that they gave. However, we do have a full read here. Now, this is just a preference from Layla Muse. Polyamory isn't for me. I do not want to deal with two other personalities and do not want me and another woman cycle syncing like Bluetooths, but to each their own.
Yeah. Hey,
Personal preference.
Good on you, Lay. Lay said the craziness is left for herself. She don't want to have to share that craziness. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've known people who are polyamorous and they believed in that concept and it worked for them. I've known people who are polyamorous and they ran into a brick wall because they weren't mature as they thought they were.
Yeah, they got to that point.
Yeah, it's kind of like people who listen. I've met a lot of people that one week they Muslim, the next week they Jehovah's Witness.
Because they come to bridges that they don't fully resonate with who they are.
Yeah, because they find in themselves,
and that's life. We're exploring. We're all. I said earlier, we're all people figuring out how to people. Mm-hmm. We don't know what the hell we're doing.
But that's why I said monogamy is a choice. Like I'm a firm believer of that. That the power goes back to you. Like if you choose to be that, be that. If you're dating and this person, okay, you're out at a restaurant. It's your first date, and the person mentions through strict transparency, I do not believe in monogamous relationships. Now, it's all right there.
No.
Their word pretty much is going to match their action. You got to respect that person enough to be like, okay, in your mind, this is if you're a monogamous person and you believe in monogamy, finish the date, pay or not pay, whoever's going to pay, whatever, get up, and then let them know through a text or a phone call, I'm not interested in being in a non-monogamous relationship.
But then there are people who enjoy the excitement.
I think that's
figuring out how they're going to mesh with other people,
or get them. Yeah.
Then they kind of latch on to the energy of other people, and maybe they really enjoy the interaction, and they think that just maybe they'll be able to change them.
Now that right there is kind of what I have an issue with.
Yeah.
It is not your job to change anybody.
It's not your responsibility.
It is not.
And you don't get to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's the number one contention in all young relationships. And a young relationship, mind you, is not just a 1 year relationship.
It's tumultuous.
And it's over time. It could be a 5 or 6 year relationship. All relationships are young at the age of 5 years. So to have a long term plan where you feel like, okay, I'm gonna change this person. It's no different than guys that be like, yeah, she smoked, but I'm gonna stop her from doing that. It's like it's not your place, And I think the true growth is understanding: are you looking to change someone, or are you looking to grow with someone? And mind you, I said with, not grow that person, but grow with, because that's the true essence of a relationship. We grow together, we build together. And for some people, I believe that a monogamous relationship, it's easier for them to do that because I think it's this. I think that the level of focus, it's kind of like when I was studying martial arts. All of my martial arts instructors was like, you need to just focus on this. But I could always cross-train. I could always do 5 different weapons and train 6 different systems. I never had a problem with that. As a director, when I'm on set, I can do 20 different things at one time. I've always been able to multitask like that. And I think that's what it is with some people. They can only focus on one person specifically. And when they're not meeting those needs that they want, that's when they want to step out, because then it's like, well, I'm giving you everything, I'm not getting anything back. Yeah.
We've got a couple questions. Or no, this is a statement. It is your choice, and taking accountability for those choices, I'm assuming, means that saying that that's important. And then we have a question that says, why do people who don't want to be monogamous get into relationships? Why not just be single and be promiscuous?
Good question. And I'll even explain to you where I have a problem because, I'm biblical minded. The churches that I used to go to were very big on marriage. Mm-hmm. The pastor would say, I want to see nothing but families running around and kids here and stuff like that. Look, a lot of us are damaged. I mean, damaged. And some of us don't need to be with no goddamn body. We need to be with ourselves and figure out who we are before we get to a point of wanting to share. Because really, you're not, some people get in relationships and are looking for people to fix them. They want a bedroom therapist. That means they want somebody they could wake up to in the middle of the night or in the morning to give them therapy. Whether that therapy is through sex, whether that therapy is through conversation or good times, they are really jacked up and they feel, well, I'll get married and that'll teach me how to love. It'll teach me how to be loved, and it'll teach me who I am as a person. That's a recipe for disaster, because what happens is that you're not being honest with yourself, the fact that you are damaged, number one, and then you're definitely not knowing whether or not you should be a monogamous person or not.
Well, I think that kind of plays into a natural human behavior, which is we're all really looking for where we will be accepted the most.
That's fair.
And slowly over time, we begin to let out more and more of the animal or the demon that we are.
With that individual, or just
with that's why they get with a person.
But that's highly dangerous and combustible, because if that person, say for instance, it's like this: when guys get with chicks, right? They meet him and the dude's all buffed out and he's in great shape and looks good, smelling good, he takes care of himself, he grooms himself well, and then they're in a relationship a year later, he's like a bum, right? He ain't going to the gym, he's flabby, he's got the puny body, right? He's not working out because he's put all that energy and effort into her. Or vice versa. There's a lot of women, you meet them, they on it, man, and then when they get with a guy, all of a sudden they become very sedentary, they be homebody, or, she don't want to do nothing unless it's with him, and then she's lost her identity. That, to me, is highly dangerous, because what, to me, makes a relationship, again, going back to what I said, it's building. Even if you're building as a couple sexually, you're never going to be able to recapture what you've accomplished sexually prior. It's kind of like
it either gets better or worse.
Right, and the only reason why it gets worse is because you're looking to match what you've done before, rather than explore and build together new things. Okay, babe, we went to the Bahamas. We had sex on the beach. All right, let's go to Paris and be on the balcony in front of the Eiffel Tower. Let me get you this wig wall. Go ahead and grab a different wig, and let me put these Timbs on and a do-rag. Let me give you the...
Now, getting into that pattern of always up in the ante, at some point you kind of run into boredom too. So you got to be careful with that.
Depends on the individual.
Yeah, figuring out what you two... What works best for you two is very important.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Look, even in friendship, especially if you're friends with a person like myself, I'm always looking to figure out, how can I blow your mind, right? I have a core group of friends who they're always looking I can mention them, Daphne and Jonesy. And they're always looking to figure out how we always look at how can we blow each other's minds with gifts and or thoughts. Because sometimes you're not always going to be in a financial state where you can afford to go out and get a $400 jacket or something like that. But you're always that's how you keep your mind on someone. I'm like that with you and other friends that I have. I always say, man, how can I make this person's day? And I think that's where that would be a great trait for monogamy, because if you can only focus on that one person and be a giver to that one person, then that's great. But if you're expecting reciprocation, in a relationship where that person doesn't even know what it is to truly love or to give, you're going to be very disheartened. You're going to be disappointed. And I've seen, that's why I said monogamy is a choice. If you get in a relationship with somebody that you already know that they're a freak and a dog and you can't keep up with them, then why get in a relationship with them?
The same reason I just said before, that desire to keep another person, which is what I believe is dangerous about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You don't own the other person.
No, not at all.
Regardless of
A
what
ring
type of
or anything,
relationship
doesn't
it
matter.
is.
Yes.
You do not own the other person. You do not get to control what it is that they do. There's only agreements.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Contractual agreements.
And
yeah.
if you two never come to an agreement on certain subjects, who bites the bullet?
Which is why I detest the phrase "we agree to disagree," because basically what that says is, it's a standstill. It's a stalemate.
That means there's two people in one room and one is miserable. That's it. It cannot mean anything else.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. All right, we're going to go back to the article. All right. Consensual monogamy. Here, both partners agree openly and honestly about keeping their relationship monogamous and have a mutual definition of what that means. Okay, so now we're talking about clarity. There's some clarity there. Both partners should discuss and agree on what monogamy means to them. Usually sexual and emotional intimacy with each other and no one else. Interesting. If either or both want to open a relationship to others, it's with the understanding that they'll both discuss changing the contract through intentional dialogue and both agree on it. This is something that could take many conversations. That's what Brandon was saying.
Mm-hmm.
One hesitant partner should never agree, and the other partner should never push too hard. Very true. So you can't make anybody do what they don't want to do. That's what you had just said. Consensual non-monogamy. Now, what's the difference of that? Books on affairs have been exploding in the self-help market in the past 10 years. And the not just the self-help market, but affairs, books that talk about affairs, movies that talk about affairs, TV shows that talk about affairs. It seems to be one of the what do you call it? The fantasies that a lot of women out there have. They even have a website. I can't remember the name of it, but it talks about. It says have the slogan of the website is "Have an affair." It's okay, have an affair. Yeah.
Maybe it's like a dating, some shit.
Yeah. It's okay.
You ain't typing.
No, I'm not, huh?
Oh, it lagged for whatever reason.
Have an affair.
Yeah, it'll find it. Even though it looks like it's gonna search on Bing, but whatever.
It was a site, but that was I remember seeing it as a billboard. Yeah, the 8 best affair sites and apps, and they have reviews of them. LA Weekly did this 8 best married dating sites. How to find an affair partner, how to find an affair partner for free online. Ashley Madison, that was the one I was thinking about.
Yeah, so there was a huge scandal thing behind that. I forget the exact details, but I was reading on that a couple years back. They got in a lot of trouble.
Ashley Madison.
Whatever. Yeah, I don't remember
did
what it was that they did.
Somebody get killed or something like that, I think?
I don't fully remember, but that's something that you guys should Google if you're interested into that. Ashley Madison's, what do they call them? Controversies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, legal controversies with Ashley Madison.
Yeah. Then you got one, Best Rich Meets Beautiful Affair Dating Site. And it's very interesting. But when you talk about that and you say the books, there's so much about it, the television shows and stuff, it just seems to be part of the process.
Oh, Melvin, of course he knows. He said Ashley Madison got hacked. So I believe that was a bunch of people being exposed, and they were swearing on confidentiality is what that was. Correct, Melvin? No sound. No sound what? On here? Melvin.
he unless he might have came.
He might have been.
Yeah.
Man.
All right. So this appears to acknowledge the lack of conversation and openness among couples, gay or straight, that leads to a rupture in a relationship and exists from intimacy. Attitudes about monogamy are slowly showing signs of changing. For instance, at a recent talk she gave on a gay marriage, a group of Caucasian CEOs challenged her on the concept. One man in particular asked, if we open the doors to gay marriage, then what's next, polygamy? Another man in the group looked at him and asked, how could you be against polygamy? You divorced 3 wives and are looking for a 4th. Yeah, well, isn't that a form of?
I don't even think that's a reasonable. I don't see how that.
Well, when we go to the definition of what
I'm saying, I don't see how that added to the article, but
yeah, well, she was just probably
pandering to gay people.
Pandering to gay people. Yeah. She's like, there's big money in that market.
And I get it. You know what I'm saying? But relationships are relationships.
Yeah.
Whatever, man.
Yeah. For an open sexual and or emotional, I lost my train of thought. Relationship with others, mutual consent of both partners is essential. Here, each agrees to open the relationship in ways satisfactory to both. Some partners prefer not to know about their partner's sexual behavior outside of the relationship. They have a don't ask, don't tell policy. Others want to know, and many insist on knowing. Rules are important here. I have heard male couples say we only do it on vacation or only with people we don't know. It is imperative to work this out. That's deep.
I mean, that's just contracting.
That's a lot of work, man.
That's just contracting.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
That's just contracting, man. Whatever.
It is. I agree with you 100%. It's just, to me, it just seems like this is when you really start to know if you love this person or not, because you're relying on them to come through consistently. Honestly, when you're making these contracts and you're making these agreements, you're relying on them to not fall within the base of who they are, which is, I believe by nature, most human beings are decent people, but most of them are constantly hiding who they truly are.
We all have complexes of sorts.
Yeah. And so at any time there's a blow up waiting to happen, and that shit is a lot of work, bro. It's okay, let's talk today. What we're gonna talk about? We're gonna talk about how you looked at her and if that, if that bothered you, and it's just like, come on. It's like, yo, let's just go. Let's build. Let's build. What's up? This what you want? Okay, cool. I'm cool with it. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like it's just so many different, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3A, step 3B, step 3, see, it's like, it's so much. And for me, it's a thing of like saying, like, when do you have the peace? Because I'm all about, at the age that I'm at now, I'm all about peace. I don't want no drama. I don't want no drama. I want to be able to sleep well, wake up, go and handle stuff. Drama just, it saps you. It zaps you. It takes a lot out of you, man. It makes it where sometimes you're sitting for an hour because you're caught up in the thought process of something that has relatively nothing to do with you building for that day. That's just my
I would agree
opinion.
with that. My preference is really just to the tune of, as long as the resources, the household resources, are not being squandered, and everyone is healthy, I really don't give a shit what happens.
Yeah.
Are our resources and our foundation safe?
Mm-hmm.
That's what matters the most to me, because at some point in this lifetime, everything that we've done has to matter in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It has to, especially if you're going to have children.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe that someone that's in the relationship needs to work a little hard? If they're not doing the work, say for instance, it gets to a point where the conversation is brought up, where it's like, okay, look, I'm not getting what out of this relationship I feel I need to be getting. I think we should, have an open relationship. Do you believe that it's right for that person to put on the other person that they need to work? And do you believe that that other person needs to work if that's what they feel they want out of the relationship?
Work what exactly?
To do what's necessary to make sure that that person meets whatever obligation that they're asking for.
So let's segue or kind of join in, because it's kind of what Jack asked, which is, can you build and grow with time, right? So it used to be said that we'll get married now,
And figure it out.
we're gonna work now and learn to love one another later. You see what I'm saying? Because the contract was about business and stability.
Oh, it was a different time.
Let's
for sure.
build this household.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's build for our offspring.
Yeah, in our future.
Because
Yeah.
we have a legacy to leave.
I agree.
So even if the legacy is I was a milk delivery man or whatever in the 20s, you know what I'm saying? But I have to have something to pass on other than just this is what we did. Were we together 30 years, or maybe we couldn't figure out love, so we just kept, you break up. You do learn to love someone over time. People grow on you in general. So to that's up to the individuals. Do I feel like spending the time necessary, which is that's undefined? I don't know how much time it's going to take to get this person up to speed. Do I love that person enough, or do I love the potential of this encounter enough to put that time in? That's completely up to the individual.
Is there a thing of having to move over what you want in order to relegate that and make that happen, you think?
I believe that comes down to the compromise with self. Again, how much time am I willing to dedicate to something that's not already exactly what I need? If that's not a question that you can answer sternly, maybe it's time to move on.
Yeah, and so with that being said, I know that a lot of times people argue with themselves on, because if you are a builder, it's hard to want to let go of what you built.
Because you've already put time in.
Yeah.
Whatever that effort was.
That's a definite investment of time. But I'm also firm in knowing that if you waste time, even if you invested time, you have to balance it out to figure out, do I stay and waste more time compared to the time that I invested? You know what I mean?
Well, because there's the time that you spent, and then there's the time that you absolutely know nothing about. If I let go of what I've invested here now, and I go back out into the world, now I have to start all over. Is that worth my time?
That's when you really have to know yourself.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of that. I have a little bit more of a nihilistic viewpoint about relationships right now in life, because I look at the world and I see where it's headed and what's been going on, and I'm caught up in 3 different time periods.
Limbo of sorts.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of different things. I came from that quote unquote, like Brandon said, nuclear family mindset, and now I'm in I was on the cusp of free love, nuclear family, back to almost like just whatever.
I don't even know if today is considered free love. It's just everybody's doing what they want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's get back to reading this then. While sleeping around and casually dating are fairly normal in today's dating world, open relationships and polyamory remain controversial, to be sure, and are still hard for most of society to accept. Though millennials are catching on pretty quickly. Is that true? You think? Some so? Yeah. We're asking our guest in the audience tonight.
Heavyweight champion.
Future heavyweight champion of the world.
You know what I'm saying?
Green-eyed bandit. Y'all know this cat. Y'all seen him online looking all sexy, and he's gonna be doing. I think he said he's doing a video with water splashing on him.
He said something about that
sweat, ropes and stuff.
Yeah, some sort of whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Millennials are catching on pretty quickly. Research shows that around 50% of I think she's you're right, pandering.
Which that's just modern times.
It's a male and female in the picture. Why is she?
We don't know that. We don't know that.
Okay. It could be a non-binary. Okay.
We do not know that.
And I'm not laughing because the situation is funny. It's just that
she's really driving it home.
Yes, she is. Okay.
There are many different relationship, not scenarios, but relationship types that could be addressed here.
Yeah, of course.
But
She just
whatever works.
she's like, they bring in good money.
Clicks. I was about to say, got to get the clicks.
Okay. It's with the understanding that they'll both discuss changing the contract through intentional dialogue and both agree on it. This is something that could take many conversations. We talked about that. Okay, so yeah, here. And then here, we're almost down and done. We're sleeping around. But okay, millennials. So she does, research shows that around 50% of gay male couples manage open relationships successfully. On the other hand, heterosexual couples that have assumed monogamy can find their lives torn apart because of affairs and cheating. Only rarely do these couples talk openly about their sex lives before the infidelity. This is far worse than a couple talking openly and honestly with each other about a sensitive topic like sexuality from the beginning. I firmly agree with that. I mean,
I want to know what research she's referencing.
Yeah, who knows? It's probably at the bottom of it. Let me see.
She just picked gay relationships versus heterosexual relationships.
The author himself is the founder and director. His latest book is My Husband's Gay, Straight, or Bi. Wow, he's got a lot of topics he's about.
Interesting.
I thought so too. I don't know.
It
was reviewed by somebody. It was Joe Kurt.
Okay. Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. I think we've read enough of this. Honestly,
yeah, it's clearly being targeted at one direction and group.
Yeah. So Pearson said, "Polly, these new terms, because of my age, are absurd." Okay, no disrespect, but it's how I feel. I love y'all all. Yeah, I mean, you have every right to feel that way. Scott's coming in.
Oh boy.
Our resident. We love to have him come in.
Let's get it, Scott.
And then Pearson, you want to come in tonight, Pearson? You're definitely welcome to do it. Scott.
I'm gonna have to get Scott theme music at this point.
Yo. Yeah, we hear you, brother. We can't see you, but we hear you.
What up? Peace to y'all. Both of y'all. I'm not turning on my camera because I'm smoking right now.
I respect that.
It's all good. We'll talk to the black screen, baby. What's going on? What's on your mind?
Well, number one, I want to say respect to my homeboy. Much love to my homeboy Brandon for being so honest. I have several questions to ask him. Because I do not subscribe to open relationship. I believe that it's in the DNA of humanity. Monogamy is in the DNA of humanity. And I believe, Antonio, earlier you said something. You said communication is important. And a lot of people struggle with communication. Well, you might have a person who might be in a situation like Brandon, and they struggle with communication. And their excuse is, I can't be in a monogamous relationship. I can't just be with one person. But what you really need to do is work on communication. That's your problem. Your problem isn't that you can't be with one person. You have to work on the tools that it takes to be in a monogamous relationship. And a lot of people forego the important things, putting on your big boy shoes and your big boy pants or big woman shoes, big woman pants, and entering into a monogamous relationship because they're not ready to work on the hard things. I'll give you a quick example. A lot of men out there, they often say, I'm just not excited with my wife. I can't, when it comes down to, us getting involved or hooking up sexually, I'm not excited. But oftentimes, that's because you have poor health. A lot of men can't
But what about on her end? What can she do if we're talking about communication? And I mean, I think definitely what you're saying is a definite attribute because I've counseled people with that issue. But when you're talking about on her end, if it's a two-way street, right? What about her accountability in regards to finding a way to help him have that desire for her? Because there's a lot of factors that fall into that. I mean, if they've gotten older and maybe she's gained weight, or maybe he's gained weight, or I mean, there's a lot of factors. You're absolutely right, but what I'm saying is the accountability, I believe, falls both ways and not just on him.
If I may,
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're kind of getting a bit out of the scope of the focus here, which is the difference between what is required and what's actually happening. The metrics between a monogamous relationship and a polygamous relationship or open relationship, whatever. Are we implying that a monogamous relationship is harder to achieve than a polygamous relationship? Because that sounds like that's the stage that was just set.
No, we're not.
Because you said...
I can't speak on a polygamous relationship
Well,
because I've never designed to be in one.
Well, so again, if I may, you made it clear that those, oh my bad, that those who are perhaps bad at communication are fail-safing to something like an open relationship rather than figuring out how to ride out a monogamous relationship and understand the other person. But in Brandon's case, it sounds like life got a lot easier for him. Relationships got easier for him once he had a more open line of communication with a partner who was also willing to explore the world of open relationships or polygamy.
It sounds like that, and it always sounds like that for men, especially men who practice polygamous relationships. Because when they show up at the party, they're the coolest person.
Well, hold on.
Polygamous relationship.
But before you go there, let's be very clear that Brandon said that he met the woman and she was into open relationships and kind of drove him. Am I?
That's right.
That is what he said.
Yeah, that would be in line with what I'm saying.
Well, he's not the one who led the open relationship. She was. She opened the door for that.
Right.
So if that's a life that she was already living, it doesn't matter that he may have got some cool points. She was already there and ready to do that before he was.
But again, the reason why I said with Brandon in particular, why I have questions for him is because he might be suffering from something. There might be a reason why he struggles with a monogamous relationship. Because I truly believe, it's almost like God said, just make two genders. Because if there was a third, it'd be too much for humanity. So let's make it simple for them. This is the way you procreate. This is the way that you should live.
Yeah, he set the rules. He set the rules and the parameters, but he also knew that man was incapable.
Free will.
Man was incapable of holding up to that standard because of the fall.
Free will.
The fall. Whoa, slow down.
We're gonna get biblical. I'm not religious, but even I know the Bible now. We can talk about it.
It's very true, Scott, because when he cursed man and woman, it wasn't a blessing to each other, it was a curse. And once you understand the curse, you understand the relationship between men and women and why there's always going to be, there will never be a moment of conquest in regards to the relationship of peace.
As my sensei says, the yin and yang also includes turbulence.
Antonio, I'm sorry. Because I feel like this happens to me a lot. Choice, what did you just say? I don't even know what you just said. There will never be a compromise in a relationship when it comes
there won't be not a compromise. There won't be a conquest of how conquest was. Yeah, which means that peace comes after conquest. Peace doesn't come before conquest.
Otherwise, we'd all be millionaires.
Right. Conquest in any kingdom is what has always caused there to be peace. So if you understand the biblical aspect of conquest, when Jesus comes back, he conquests. He ends it all. That's conquest. So then there's peace. There's 1,000 years of peace, right? So basically the relationship between men and women is a curse. It was a curse that he laid down when they fell. And when he says that you will desire your husband, you will desire your husband, that was a curse. That was not a thing of, oh, well, women are going to be looking for men. No, they want the man's position. That's what scripture. Excuse me?
Okay. No, I'm saying choice. I'm just saying, Antonio.
Yes, sir.
Do you know a successful relationship?
Do I know what a successful relationship is? Have I had one? Do I have one?
No, do you know any?
Do you have one? Do you know anybody who's in a relationship and they're happy?
Yeah, plenty. What type of relationship? Are you just saying relationships in general, or a monogamous relationship, polygamous?
Monogamous.
Yeah, plenty.
Okay, choice. Do you know a successful relationship?
Oh, absolutely.
Relationship.
Absolutely.
So then what are we talking about?
See,
Why are we talking? We're saying that it doesn't work. We're saying that it doesn't work. It's a curse. We're saying all these things, but we know people who have successful relationships.
Yeah. Sifu Carl, I definitely want to bring you in. So just let me finish up with Scott. Because Scott, every relationship is different.
100%.
Every relationship is different. We can't. Going back to earlier, what I said in the conversation is that people by nature are damaged. People come into this world through a lot of issues that they have, mostly with their families. If you look at most of our problems as human beings, it relates back to how we were reared and how we dealt with the family dynamics of our mothers and or fathers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, whether we saw it, whether we didn't see it, whether you know how many people have total tragic relationships in life due to divorces. Divorce is one of the worst things that can happen to a child.
So that's one pessimistic perspective.
No, it's not.
That's it.
No, it's not. That's the truth. It's the truth.
It's not the truth.
Well, what does the Bible say about family and relationships?
Contention.
Three of us just said we know successful relationships.
Yeah, but those people are successful in their relationships in regards to what? Is it a success because we look on the outside and see that they're together and that they're at functions and they're happy, but maybe
we also don't know behind closed doors.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Maybe I think one of the greatest songs that Stevie Wonder ever made was "Skeletons in the Closet."
Straight up.
You know, I never forget that music video because.
Before we go there, the relationships that I know that work, there is no doubt those two people are in love.
Yeah, but that's
All of the
but that's.
people I know who have a successful, and you guys are saying, yeah, I know some people who have successful relationships. Well, who knows? Maybe it's not successful. That's not mine. That's not the people I know who are in love or works.
Yeah, but you're not in their bedroom. You don't know what's going on in their personal life.
At all.
I absolutely know. I know.
No.
We all present well.
Unless you can tell me you're in that person's bedroom, because the private time between a man and a woman, or a man and a man and a woman and woman, is their private time.
Very personal.
And it's very personal.
What I'm telling you, Choice, is I'm watching kids grow up and get older and do better in school. And I'm watching them be successful. So if I see kids being successful, getting good grades, you know,
Bro, hold on. Let me explain something to you. No. Listen. I'm a product. Hold on. I'm a product. No. Stop. I'm a product of a single parent household.
I was about to go there too.
I was one of 5. I had the best grades out of all of my brothers. I was on the honor roll, still dealing with the fact that I was molested at the age of 2 and 7. So that doesn't mean anything. Those kids, sometimes kids cater more to academics because they have nothing else. Because at home, their family relationship is destructive.
Correct.
That doesn't mean anything. That's just an observation. No, it's just an observation.
Without case studies and actual statistics, your immediate view of the world and those who you have interpersonal relationships with are minute in comparison to the numbers that we have of humans and their relationships and their behaviors and goings in the world, man. It's not fair to push that.
Yeah, Scott, I have to.
Antonio.
Scott, we hold on.
Nobody in love, bro?
No, Scott, we'll get. Hang in there. We'll bring you back in. We gotta get somebody else real quick. We have to be fair. He's been waiting for a while, but we'll get right back to that.
Yeah, I would definitely like to come back to Scott.
Yeah, we want to come back to you. Yeah, okay, hold on.
That nigga said so long.
See Foucault, you there? Oh yeah. Oh, that's a yo.
Sir.
What's up, man? Wow.
What's up?
I knew I'd get to see you being back home soon.
How's my brother doing?
Hey, I'm doing well, man, and I know we can greatly utilize your wisdom in this conversation because you and I have had these talks many years ago. So I'd love to see where your mind is at on this now.
I didn't really hear the whole conversation. I kind of got it on the end. I was just listening, so I don't really know the title or the head of this conversation.
We're talking about monogamy.
He gave that look. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Oh man.
What's your
Melvin
thoughts on
says
that?
hi, by the way.
Yeah, Melvin.
Yep, yeah. Melvin says hi.
Yeah.
I'm not. Well, it's not impossible. I
Okay.
think it is a thing that can be a reality, but it's hard. It's hard because society doesn't really work with you. So, two people get together and they have ideas of what each other's supposed to be. And then they hold each other to a standard in their mind that person is supposed to be. And as soon as he doesn't fit their idea, then something may take his place or something else may happen. You know, they might step out, they might break up, whatever. So, that's a double-edged sword.
So
I'm not saying it ain't possible. I'm not saying it ain't possible.
yeah.
I'm not saying it ain't possible. I've seen people who, I think do exceptionally well in their relationships with each other. But I've seen a majority of people, they go for years, people think they're happy, but on the inside, they cover up a lot of things that, and don't get me wrong, people always say you're supposed to stick to the bad and the good. Yeah, you are. But that monogamy a lot of times have been broken. And they come back together and they they work it out and they stay together. I'm not saying it ain't, that's just something two people have to work out together. But to say two people can get together at the age of 20 and stay only with each other till death do us part, you very rarely find
That's
that.
a tall task.
Yeah. So do you believe, because this is what I said at the top of the show, I said that monogamy, in my opinion, is a choice. You choose to be monogamous.
Right, exactly. It is. It's definitely a choice. It's not something that can be forced on you. The expectations of it, yeah, people expect you to be, but it's a choice that you make. Nothing happens on accident to me. Because there's one or two reasons why you do things. You either did it because you thought it was the right thing to do at the time you did it, or you did it because you didn't give a damn about the consequences.
Right.
I can agree with that.
Right.
Either one. So those are main two things why things happen.
Yeah.
I don't think people say, oh, it was an accident. No, let's go back to the antecedent of what happened, and let's see if it was an accident. Nah, you was doing that, and it came out wrong.
That's what you wanted to do.
You were doing it because you didn't give a damn about what happened, and now this happened. So now you're trying to say, well, it wasn't an accident. You don't fall into relations. Relations happen because two people come to an understanding
That's right. That's right. Okay. Wow.
I agree with that.
Hey, well, while I have you on the line, man, I know this is a show, we're talking about monogamy and everything. I just, personally, me, myself, for all the years that I've known you, and you're one of my favorite teachers of all time. I was literally talking to Antonio today. We was doing a little bit of training. You got to come by my complex, man, and check it out and everything.
Yes, man. Where's that?
Once I get offline, I'm definitely going to make that happen, man. Because we're incognito, so we don't really let people know. But you are always welcomed, and I just got to thank you. Without getting misty-eyed, man, a lot of the lessons, what you taught me in Gung Fu, which was the first off the correct pronunciation of it, you know what I'm saying? To this day, it still applies to every aspect of my life and who I am, and I love you, man. I thank you. Man, every time we speak, man, we even Melvin, one of my students, he was just talking about. He said, "Tell Sifu call and say hi." And I met I met your boy, man, and he's strong and powerful, and man. I keep telling him, I'm like, you just got to get back in there. I said, the game's wide open. He can make a lot of money, too, man.
The talent he had when he was competing as a teenager, man. I started him in the adult division fighting at 13.
Wow.
Mm.
And now when I tell you, even in the ground, I don't really teach grappling. To me, our joint locks is just part of our kung fu.
Yeah.
So when he wanted to get into the grappling, the adult division, I was like, that's up to you. And when he got out there and won, I was
Started
like,
tying them up.
Wow. Yeah. I've met him several times, man. He's an awesome cat, man. So, we definitely gonna have to make that happen. I think I got your number. I'm not sure, but make sure in my DM you send me your number, or I'll after the show I'll number you out and have you come on through, man. It'd be good to see you and just to talk and chop it up, man.
yes, sir.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Love you, brothers. Thanks for checking in, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Y'all take care.
All right. So, Scott, you're welcome to come back in now. Sorry, I had to get this call, man. Had to get this call. This was,
I don't know how to turn that shit off either.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, oh boy.
Okay. You can get on, but you can't get off this thing. Oh, there.
Right.
It is. Okay. All right. Got it. All right.
Let me see. If I hang up, I'm probably gonna do the whole thing.
Yeah. Got you. All right. We got it. Okay.
All right. Cool.
All right. Piran, you wanna go ahead and chime in, Piran? We're definitely welcome to have you. Hit the X. Yeah, I figured it out, Janessa. Thank you. And yes, it is, Janessa. To me, it's 100% choice. Scott, we're not disagreeing with you, Scott, and what you had said. It can happen. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just talking about the contention of the relationship. The contention of the relationship is based on the curse. And if you want me to go more into detail about it, I will, because it's one of the major things that I advise people on understanding. Once you understand the curse, then you understand why men and women have this constant contention. Because it was a curse. There was nothing good about it.
We had to atone.
Yeah, God taking Adam and Eve and killing an animal, dressing them in skins, and telling them, you will work by the sweat of your brow to the day you die, and thorns and thistles. All that was a curse. That whole section was a curse, and he put them out the garden. He didn't bless them. He had blessed them in the beginning. He said, "Be fruitful and multiply." That was the blessing. So when you understand that, it gives you the understanding of how relationships have that contention, that constant friction. And so when we're talking about monogamy, being a choice, it's a thing of accountability. I'm not sure up here, and I think you just basically get on and you make sure that that video button is pressed as an X.
I think if you press plus, I'm old, man. Yeah, press the plus, and then there's a camera symbol with a plus sign in it, and you can request to join.
I asked my now ex if he wanted a pass. He said no and stepped out anyway. Yeah.
Well, because it's hard for people to be honest.
Yeah. He didn't.
He wasn't sure how to have that conversation with you.
Yeah. And then he probably didn't want you to have control.
Correct.
You see, because you saying you can go ahead and go, it's a thing of giving a woman the control over the choice that he wanted to make anyway. So, Scott, you back in? Yes, we do. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Hold on, Scott. Hold on one second.
Quick,
we have to get Piran in. I'm sorry. Let us deal with Piran, and we'll get you right back in. Okay?
Scott gonna fire us.
He's gonna fire us. He's not going
Scott about to cancel us.
Yeah, we love him. We love him because we finished him up at the top of the show. Piran, are you in? Okay. Yeah, you can actually press the camera button and it'll turn it off. So yeah, I'm not sure if you see it, but there we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so thoughts.
So, oh my goodness, this is so good. I'm in total agreement with you as far as the biblical, what it says biblically. It's, I mean, there's a curse.
Yeah.
And that's the reason there's so much of a high divorce rate.
Yes.
You know, we're under a curse. And, yeah, definitely, I don't agree with 2 or 3 year, partners. You have one, God has blessed you with one, you stick with that one forever. And you have issues, but you work through them. And I believe that's why we're here. We're here to learn. We're here to learn from each other, because we're going to have disagreements. But that's my thought. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when I say that it's a choice, and like I said, it goes back to people in life are chasing something. Some people are chasing money, some people are chasing love, some people are chasing acceptance. We are all jacked up in some regards. And this is irregardless of whether you were born a Baptist or an atheist or a Satanist or whatever. We all have our own personal psychological adversities, right? And so here we're in a world where we have to interconnect with people, okay? One of the things as an acting coach that I used to always tell people was that everyone treats me as somebody in their everyone treats me as somebody in their family. So to one guy, I'm a mean uncle. To another chick, I'm a mean daddy. To another person, I'm a mean brother, or somebody else that is the person that has all the answers for them. I can't be all of that to everybody, but that's what they've made me be. And so what happens is when you get people in relationships get together, they feel like, okay, I found someone. Now, it's kind of like going back to that Viola Davis monologue when she goes, "You wasn't the best looking man, Troy." You know, and she said, but I dug in there and the soil was hard, and she's telling him, you're coming to me and telling me that you have a child. She already knew he was stepping out. See that she was just like, that's why she said, don't you think there were times I wanted to get up and go and be with another man, but I didn't. That was her choice. Because she believed in what the relationship was building. You see? And remember, a lot of our parents back in the day knew that somebody in the family was stepping out. Or they knew on the other side of town.
But they were focused on the building. As long as you're not going and wasting the resources on something else, typically they didn't care. There's a house taken care of. We have much bigger things to worry about than, he took her out for ice cream or she went and had a burger with this fool, or euphemisms for whatever they were really doing, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, we're not saying that it's one way or the other. We're not saying that. Like we're all just talking our perspective and our opinions, because the world has to keep going. Listen, someone right now is having sex and making babies. That's that generation. When they reach 20, 25, they could care less about our 80-year-old asses. They out living their life. If they're polyamorous or monogamous, or if they're whatever they got going on, they're not going to be. That's why the article was talking about millennials have a different perspective on how they, like, we can look at it because we're older. I'm 53, so to me, certain things just don't add up. But I've learned to be accountable and say, you know what? Whatever, if they like it, I love it, because that's their business. Like this whole Nia Long thing. What's happening now is they're putting all the blame on him and not the other woman that was involved in the scandal. So Nia Long is out of the picture. She's not you. Everybody's like, oh, we on your side, girl. We got your back. We feel like he dogged you out. Blah 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 blah. She's off the hook. Okay, right? She's literally off the hook. Like, you know, she's gonna get more work from this. Believe it or not. But now he's the face of infidelity, and they're not looking at punishing the woman that was involved in it. So that becomes an issue to me, because it's like, look, they decided together to do this. They both worked at the same job. If the policy is against one person, it should be against both.
Right. I'm in total agreement. I'm in total agreement.
So and this is what I'm saying, Pierre, is there's nothing wrong with having your opinion of being a pop. If you say, you know, you want one man for yourself or one person for yourself, and that's how your life is going to be, and that's how you want, maybe God is bringing that person to you, that's fine. Right. But we can't point fingers at somebody else and say, I'm sorry, what was that?
I'm not going to judge anybody else for their decisions.
That's the issue. That's the leg I stand on. I would never look at somebody as a fool saying what your thing is. It's kind of like
it's
this.
It's not our job to judge.
It's not. It's
not our place to judge.
It's not. And listen, I got friends who aren't contractually married, but they are monogamous and they've been together for 25 years. And they're not thinking about walking down an aisle, going to the courthouse.
Your relationship is how you define it.
They have a better relationship
than the people who put on the
airs.
Big show.
Oh,
spent $50,000.
Yes,
yeah.
But see, this is why to me it works, because they both build.
They decided. They agreed.
They build. They're both professionals. She's got her business. He's got his business, and he actually works along with her in certain aspects of her business. And when they get home, what they've done is created an atmosphere of love, number one. Because that's the first thing I felt when I went up there. I was like, oh, you know, it wasn't even impressive that it was on a house on the hill. It was like you feel the love. There's no stress. Their communication is wide open. They do things together constantly. And in the 25 years, if they've had a disagreement, they sit down and it's almost like a board meeting.
Yeah. Well, so and to that, man, you know, not to take anything away from them, but I think it's important that we highlight the common person. Everybody's not going to have a business. Everybody's not going to go and make $1 million together. For some people, this is just UPS and Chick-fil-A.
But see,
you know what I'm saying?
And I agree with you.
You got to be fair to them too.
And I agree with you, but thus enters in the issue, because it's like, okay, I don't feel like you're giving me enough time. Well, the bills got to get paid.
Right.
I got to get on this truck. I got to do these extra hours. Oh, Timmy needs new shoes. Okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Well, you're not going to take it out of your salary. I got plans to do stuff with that money.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, it's either I do the hours or I take that time. Because, listen, I had someone tell me just recently that they wanted to start their own streaming show. But they didn't want to have to do all this stuff. Because
we ain't even fully figured it out.
Right.
Right.
And because they wanted to have time with their wife. And I said, so you would have to work a little extra hard to take that money and hire people to do all the marketing, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But he was very upfront with me about it, you know, and he told me that. And so it made a lot of sense. Do you want to add anything else, Piran? Because your point is very. I love the fact that you're expressing your thought process and your worldview, because, you know, for some people, a worldview is the biblical view, and the biblical view is the worldview. So,
Exactly. Exactly. No, I'm done. That's my contribution to this topic. That's how I feel. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
and for anybody interested, Purian is doing a competition. Please go to her page, and when it's time to vote for her.
How do you spell her
It's
her handle?
Do you want to give us your handle, Purian?
Yes, I'll put it on.
Okay, so I guess in the comments, just add the information.
How do you
And
spell it? P-E-A-R-A-N?
IPEARON.
It's LTP.
Oh, LTP. It's LTP?
Yes.
LTP.
And on Facebook, let me get the link.
That's an excellent question.
Yeah.
Nah, so is it LTPEARON?
I'm not sure.
Well, listen, boy, we gotta move
LTPEARON. Is that a slash or is that a?
Well, we got 18 minutes left, so
Okay. All right. So, Perry, we're gonna move on to another person. And thank you for chiming in. Appreciate you. Okay. So, Scott, if you're still out there, we got some more time for you, brother. You can come back in, and we can clear up everything that we were talking about. But as of right now, we are 18 minutes left on the show. And hopefully we've been touching on a lot of things in regards to what it is to be in a monogamous relationship or a non-monogamous relationship. Anybody out there want to talk about theirs and what they have going on if you're in a monogamous relationship and the struggles maybe you have? Because here at Change Your Mind, Change Your Thinking, we like to make sure people walk away with stuff that they can think about to make a difference. Some perspective, okay? Do you feel in the black community, since we tend to talk a lot about that
Black lives do matter, they say.
Well, in my day, a monogamous relationship was all that we knew. It was
Well, the solid household, really, in general,
Mm-hmm.
But also to that, I mean, black people have a tendency to kind of sweep things under the rug.
Yeah, that's no
Keep it
therapy
moving.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. I think Janessa had mentioned previously, she said, what is wrong with, let me see if I can find that. What is the issue with having multiple partners?
What is the issue?
Well, I think there's a difference between if you're in a committed relationship and if you're just single and dating, right? So we have to establish that. Single and dating, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. Now, obviously, if you have a religious moral standpoint, then that's something different. But when you're in a committed relationship, it's the contract. That's what we go back to.
100% about the contract, the agreement between the two individuals.
Right. And so you're seeing lately, I know I've seen on World Star Hip Hop a couple of videos with people talking about guys married to multiple wives, or women. I saw that married to multiple husbands. And that's been something that people have been talking about. Scott, you back in. What's going on, brother?
Oh, boy.
The reason why I keep calling back in is because I just want to make this one point.
I think the bottom of your phone is covered up, Scott. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The reason I keep calling back in is because I want to make this one point, and I just feel it's very important that the men who are out there, because we're being so biblical, I will say, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I acted like a child, but when I became a man, I put away child.
Scott, you gotta kind of hold the phone still or something. Your mic is like getting muffled. Well, guys, 14 minutes.
Scott, you there? Hello?
Well, let's
Okay. All right. So
Let's get our final moments.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what Scott is alluding
some
to in
technical
regards to that.
difficulties.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. You're back now.
Am I clear?
Yeah. Okay. Go for it.
Yeah. The point that I'm trying to make is that what is important for me.
Yeah, bro, you gonna have to get on up off of here.
Scott, we can barely hear you. The sound is really bad, unfortunately, and we got people in the live complaining about it. So, can you text or type in the chat exactly what it is you wanted to say, so we can end out on that? Hello. Okay, it might even be his connection as well. And I definitely love to continue that offline with you, Scott, because a lot of people aren't, especially people who are in quote unquote in the Bible, they think they understand it. They don't know the curse, and that to me, once that was revealed to me, and I understood that,
it's definitely worth breaking it down for sure.
It makes sense. It makes sense on why men and women have this constant contention, because the desires would be for your husband. You know, people think, oh, look for a husband. No, it's a curse. Right. You want his position, and it's a contention. So, for these last couple of minutes, just basically, we got people in the chat. You guys who just came in, if you got questions or anything, what's going on? Randy, how you doing, Randy? Thanks for chiming in, for joining in. I hope you guys are learning something about this. Tonight's topic was about monogamy. We still got some more time that we're going to be talking about. And then offline, we will be continuing a conversation. And you can go to eventually our Patreon, and that stuff will be listed up there in the Patreon. So, E, you've been sitting over there this whole night. We haven't been messing with you.
Quiet as a mouse.
What are your thoughts on monogamy? What do you feel? Are you a monogamous guy? Do you believe in monogamy? Do you think it's a choice? Do you not believe in it? Are you still finding yourself?
It's definitely a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be on camera, nigga?
Nah.
Yeah, you don't want to be on camera right now. Next
it's
time.
definitely a choice. You choose if you would like to talk to just them, or if you would like to talk to more than one person. Life is based off choices, so I mean, that's pretty much my viewpoint on it.
Yeah.
Am I monogamous? No, but I'm still finding myself and finding what I need to do with my life. So.
Well, when we say the monogamy, are we talking about because if you're not married, does that make a difference?
Cheating is only cheating if you are married, technically. But even if you don't believe in cheating.
Well, I believe. Okay, listen. Like I said, I don't use the word cheating.
I don't believe in that shit.
Well, infidelity or stepping out, like you heard Sifu Call said, stepping out. Stepping out is a more mature ideology of relationships in that sense. Cheating, it sounds like something that you cheated on your test. It's so benign.
It's that gets into the possessiveness of people when it comes to relationships, and I will never endorse possession of people at all.
Yeah, you can't stop anybody from doing what they're going to do.
People also forgot what dating is meant for, though.
Well, what do you think dating is meant for? Because that's a good point.
To find out if we'll be compatible. It doesn't mean that as soon as we start dating, I'm yours. No, like we don't have any attachment.
So when do you think that happens? When do you get to a point when that person is yours in a sense?
After we make the arrangements, like okay.
The contract.
Yeah,
the contract. That's all it is.
Me and you, and we're not gonna talk to nobody else. But it doesn't happen after we have sex. For sure it doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean that sex is
right. So that becomes the issue of the bump in the blanket. Sex all of a sudden. Oh.
Well, that's why people have to speak and communicate. Mm-hmm. That's very important. It's imperative, just to the balance of the peace in the relationship.
Which is what you were talking about, Scott. You were saying that the communication. But the problem is if a person wasn't raised in a specific mindset of communicating a certain way, they're going to fall on their face.
Well, monogamy is also somewhat cultural.
It is. It's very cultural. Because in India, they may believe in monogamy, right? To the point where women are abused if they find them cheating. Or in some African cultures, I've seen videos of both the couples getting beat. Like they catch the man cheating with the woman, and the whole village come in and beat that person. It's wild to see that.
They do more than beat.
Yeah. Because in their culture, that's like an ultimate sin. It's like cheating on, you're getting whooped up. Whereas in some African cultures, there were men that, polygamy was big, right? I've been asked that many times before. Scott, are you in? Okay, we can hear you better now. I've been asked that many times about King Solomon because, King Solomon had 1,000 women. He had 700 wives and 300 concubines. And, if you know anything about the story, he was doing all he could to replace the Queen of Sheba because she had left. And he had got into all these women and he had married all these wives. And, people always say, well, wasn't that a big sin to marry all those wives? The sin wasn't that he married the wives. The sin was that the wives brought him away from God because he served their gods. But go ahead, Scott.
Well, you're gonna throw me an alley-oop, okay? What I wanted to say is for all the young men, especially who are out there, the point is when it's time to be monogamous, pull up your big boy pants and put on your big boy shoes. Because to be monogamous, it takes more effort. It takes more effort to actually commit yourself to one person. And Choice, you talked about a relationship where they work and one is more successful than the other and they have chosen to bring their incomes together. You talked about a relationship that was happening, that worked.
Yeah, but I never disagreed with you about a relationship that would work. My thing was saying when you're talking about monogamy, it is a choice. They're being together. They're not forced by contract to be together. They're together and they're monogamous with each other by choice. For me personally, I never been with anyone, like if I was in a relationship, I was never with anyone else because I always felt like I was happy that person wanted me. But that was a choice. It was how my mind is, my wiring is. Everybody's wiring is different, and so we can't just put the ball in the men's court and say you guys are the ones that have to make the dunk. It goes both ways. If a woman wants to have a man whose focus is on her, there are things she has to do in order to receive that focus. It can't just be, as a man, I got to treat her as a queen. Man, women outnumber men 4-1.
There's no obligation to be monogamous unless you two agree that this is what we are going to do.
Yeah, did you hear what Eric was saying? He was just basically saying, like, a round trip in the bedroom doesn't
equate to
an
all-out relationship.
Yeah.
Now we move in.
Yeah. Once
I use your car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Once the contract is relegated, then so it's the decision that you both make with each other, but you got to know yourself. See, the problem is that, especially in the black community, a lot of people, they just accept it. It's just like, oh, okay, well, just know that all men are dogs. They all gonna cheat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that because that's obviously not a true factor. That's like saying every girl's a slut. That's not true. It doesn't, it's like everybody is individuals. We all have different frame of thought and different approach, All right, 5 minutes left, but thanks for adding that, Scott. I appreciate it. I definitely want to go over with you off the line. We'll talk some more about the biblical aspect of the curse because I'm not sure if you ever heard that before. So that's interesting.
This shit timed out anyway.
Yeah, it timed out?
Mm-hmm. What does that say?
51 seconds.
Oh, it's about to kick your ass.
All right, guys. So, what a night.
Any last wishes?
Any last wishes? Again, check us out on YouTube, CMCT_show, Twitter, CMCT_show. And we got some other stuff coming up eventually on TikTok and on
Your
Patreon.
live ended.
Yeah, my live ended. Okay.
Well, guys. Oh, it's gonna make you post it and shit on.
It posted, but we can go back and you just fix it.
Okay.
For you guys that's still on,
YouTube, Instagram, Eric, you know what I'm saying? Melvin, get on up out of here.
hopefully you guys learned something from tonight. If you have any questions or any show topics you want us to discuss or go over, please email us at cmctshow@gmail.com. Again, that's cmctshow_. I'm just screwing that up.
Shit. If you want to email us some information, that is cmct goddamn. All right, look. Hold up. If you want to email us, that's at cmctshow@gmail.com. What else we got? Instagram at cmct_show. Facebook at cmct show. YouTube at cmct_show. The TikTok is also at cmct_show. The Linktree, the website. Go ahead and search for cmct_show there.
Yes. Our personals.
Personals.
Darkon2000 at Instagram. Instagram at Darkon2000.
And that is DARKAN 2000.
We are taking donations. Don't forget the dosage.
You feel me? And that said, what is? I don't see the Cash App on this paper, but
Well, let's give them your Instagram as well. At the THE_dosage, DOSAGE.
perhaps.
That's right. Isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, that does it.
We'll be back on Thursday night. We'll be talking current events and different things going on in the news, entertainment, pop culture. And also, if you go to the YouTube, all of our previous shows are being added. So make sure you subscribe and you add and you share and you like, because that helps us in the algorithm.
It does.
It's
Quite
very
a bit.
important that you do
Let us
that kind of stuff.
Get these numbers spinning so that we can
Eventually start
produce
traveling and
a higher quality product for you all, and get everything a little more seamless between the platforms as well.
I like how you said that.
Look, man, you know.
Love my brother to the side here. Thanks for our in-studio guest tonight, co-host Eric Moore, the Undisputed.
Heavyweight champion of the world.
Give us a shout out on your
Oh, fuck you, Melvin. Melvin,
give us a
he's all
shout out
good.
on your
Never
Instagram.
forget.
On your Instagram, please. What is your Instagram?
Come on, Eric.
undisputed_E18.
That is undisputed_E18. Undisputed E18 on Instagram if you want to watch the exhaustion of the world heavyweight champion to be.
And he's got if you go there, he's got a Snapchat. So
Yeah, you got to, you know what I'm saying, man. Is this the platform to go ahead and promote that? Yeah. Eric has goodies on his Instagram.
you know what I'm saying? Snapchat for sure.
He got goodies on there, so.
Anyway, guys, love you. Stay blessed, and we will see you Thursday night. Here's your outro.
Outro? Oh, shit. Look, I'm having so much fun, I forgot there's an outro. I had another couple songs coming, too.
Do you?
Yeah.
But this got to be the solid, consistent.
Oh,
outro.
yeah, no, for
this
sure.
One here.
For sure.
This one. And he'll be making a music video to this soon, so I'm on him about it.
Yep, I'm learning how to accept responsibility for my creativity.
Yeah, definitely, guys. You got to make sure you support us so that way we can bring you some great content.
Hold up. Is
But
it going to do me
Antonio's
right
got
this time?
This song is awesome. So we definitely want to get a music video going for this, so you guys can visually see what he's saying with this song.
Okay, there we go. It connected this time. No hiccups. I'll press play.
That's when there's hiccups.
There we go. All right, guys. Muscles on this lonely pack. I stay calm and fact. I've been on the grind so long.